Today is a perfect time to plant our fall crops. It's a little bit rainy today and it is cooler. It's not like 90 degrees, so it is perfect to get our fall garden started. Join me today while I plant some more seeds and I move stuff around in here. I'll be planting more of the cooler crops. So we got spinach and some other lettuces that'll probably wait a couple more weeks just because it's supposed to be super hot still. It is supposed to be about 90s in the next couple of weeks, so I'm still waiting, but I want to get these started. Then we'll do another succession sowing in a couple weeks. These lettuces here I'm going to pull and then plant my peas that I have. A lot of these lettuces are going to seed, so we're going to pull them, and they're also dying back and they got a little chewed on as well. All right, let's pull these lettuces. I usually like to do it when the soil is dry because it's easier to pull out, but nice dreary day, so I want to get into the garden and get these plants out, and I will compost these as well. What are you doing, Yami? Are you trying to eat the lettuce? You want to eat this? You don't want to eat the lettuce. Okay, and then the compost bucket I have right here, if I can get Yami's in my way. There we go. We're just going to throw these in. I'll probably chop them up a little bit smaller, but I'm just going to throw them in for now. Excuse me, you're in my way. All these lettuces are going to seed. Not sure which variety these ones were. I think they were the leaf lettuce. Oh, this one's a big one. Try to keep most of the soil. If there's any roots, I'll pull those out too. You can reuse old potting soil, but you'll want to refresh what you have with fertilizer and new potting soil. All right, let's get all the roots out and just fluff up the potting mix. Now, some of the roots that are left in here should break down over time, so we can keep that. Now, we're just growing peas, so the peas won't need a lot of fertilizer since they produce the nitrogen. And I will be planting, so I'm going to plant peas and then more lettuce in here. And then I'm going to also move this container over on the other side. I want to see, I think this pot is getting too much sun. I want to put them in the shade a little bit. We have a new bag of potting soil, so I am going to fill up my container here. I'll just sprinkle the new potting mix inside here. I'm also going to put some compost, my homemade compost that I compost in the bucket. If you want to see how the process was that I did that, I will share the video. Make sure to mix that all up. But you can see there isn't a lot of like big pieces of wood or sticks in this potting soil, which I really like. It does have a little bit of fertilizer. And then also perlite for that drainage. But it's super fluffy and I like it a lot. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of my homemade compost that I have in the bucket here. So here's the bucket. We'll just mix just a little bit, see what happens. Okay, now I'm gonna move this container over on the other side of the balcony and see how they do, since they were getting pretty much cooked in the sun. They'll get a little bit more shade, I think, over on that side. I'm gonna need to move all of these containers because I'm gonna put it in the corner over here. And then I will put the peas and I'll plant those. And I think where the container was previously, I think I'm gonna put all the peppers that I had, so some of these peppers, and then move the other peppers in that spot. What's really nice about these containers is I can just move them wherever. And since a lot of them have the handles, I can just pick them up. Now that we have the container moved, I'm going to be planting. I got some sugar snap peas from in my gardener, and then also a couple snow peas left that I was planting on the other side. Once they start to sprout up, what I'm going to do is take a jute twine and then just put it here for trellising. And I'm also going to plant some salad greens and some leaf lettuces here. So what I'm going to do is, let's push that back a little bit. So I'm going to build a little trench. Now normally I soak the peas like 24 hours, but I didn't this time. So we're just going to plant some. So we have the melting sugar snow pea. And I'll just put them down into the trench. I would say I would plant them about an inch or so, maybe 2 inches, depending on how. On the seed packet it says 2 inches, but I like to plant them a little bit more densely. And then we have the sugar snap peas. And then just cover up the peas. And then I will water them in. Once they sprout, so having them close here, I will, because they have little tendrils, and these bars they're too thick to basically wrap around. So having the jute twine string basically weaving in and out will help them be able to grow vertically. Okay, and then with the lettuce, all I'm gonna do is just basically sprinkle them on the top. It's a little too much. All right, so I will sprinkle them here. And just on the top. Because the seeds are so small, you don't want to bury them too deep. And I'll be growing most of these for the baby greens, since we like salads. And some of the seeds won't sprout, so that's why I'm planting more than I need to. And then we'll just do another gourmet blend and see what sprouts up. And then I'll take my hands and pat it down so at least they have some soil contact, and then we'll water them in. Make sure they get the good first drink. And you want to make sure that the first week they continue to get water, because if they'll dry out, they won't sprout. I have 2 more grow bags here that I want to plant some more things in. A lettuce container, so I have different lettuces. So I have like your heading lettuce, so you got your romaine. There's a Marvel of Four Seasons lettuce that I want to grow. I haven't grown this one yet. This is a new one for me. And then also a butterhead lettuce, which I've grown the butterhead lettuce before, but I'm just taking off. So I put these pieces of wood shavings on these containers that I were not using, just to help out so the potting mix does not dry out. And then I have a bucket that I'll put all that stuff in, but I need to add some more potting soil in these grow bags. This one looks a little bit dry, so I'm going to be mixing those. If you leave your potting soil out like in the sun, or you don't water them, they can dry out. And this, I believe this potting soil has the peat moss, so it gets very hydrophobic. So basically it just gets really dry and dusty, and then it doesn't retain the water that you want. Adding new potting mix will help that soil to rejuvenate and basically bounce back. See, look at the difference with that. And I believe that what I had before was a like organic Miracle-Gro, which I stopped using. I don't really like that because it tends to really dry out. And I like the texture of the Fox Farm. Give that a good mix, and I'll put some more compost in here too. The best way to mix like your old potting soil with the new potting soil is probably get like a tarp or something that you can dump out the potting soil, because doing it this way is a little bit harder and I don't have a lot of room. So it takes longer too to mix. Oh yeah, look at this compost. I can't believe I created this on my balcony. It's so rich. Now I'm not going to fertilize any of these pots just because there already is fertilizer inside the potting mix. And then the compost will help too. But down the line, if they end up needing more fertilizer, I will fertilize, because they are leafy greens. I will fertilize with a fertilizer with higher nitrogen. I'm going to plant the Tom Thumb dwarf pea. Now this is a dwarf variety pea that does not need trellising or support, so we're just going to plant it in the grow bag. It is a shelling type pea, and I've never grown these before, so it does say that they are container friendly and you want to plant them with 2-inch spacing. So I'll probably just plant just a couple in the pot here. Maybe we'll do 3 or 4. You can do 1 in the middle too, just in case one doesn't sprout. Then you cover it up. And then in this container, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant, I have some romaine. So I'm going to plant the romaine in the middle, and then also we'll plant a Marvel of Four Seasons. I'll do like around the romaine, and then probably a little bit of lettuces, like the leaf lettuces, in the empty spots. So this is just basically going to be a little pot of lettuce. So we got some romaine, so I'll just put the romaine right in the middle. Now the seeds are super small, so I'm just going to plant a couple. I do like the romaine for a lot of salads, but here's how small the seeds are. So I'll put just like 3 seeds in, maybe 4. Cover that up. And then I'll plant a couple of the Marvel of Four Seasons. This is a head lettuce. It's kind of like, it reminds me of like a butter lettuce. What it does say it is, yeah, okay, so it is a butter lettuce that has a stunning metallic color. And I will pretty much use these as a cut and come again lettuce. So basically where you cut back the lettuce leaves. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle just a couple of seeds in the corners. And then we'll take some more salad bowl mix and we'll just sprinkle in the rest of the area. And then I'll pat down the seeds just to make contact with the soil again. And because the seeds are so small, I'm not burying them. And I believe the lettuce, they do like light to germinate. And then we will water these in. I rearranged the plants a little bit. I put most of the peppers, I moved them over here. I will be pulling this tomato plant, and the basil I'll probably replant or transplant somewhere else. I rearranged all of the things that were out here in his garden. What's he doing? He's gonna sniff. He was sitting in one of these, so hopefully he doesn't sit and lay in here. What do you think? What do you think? He's like, I smell new things. Just moved around. Here is my planting of the fall crops vlog. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next video.